Hello there. So now let's talk about the transparency in CSS. So to recap what I have inside of HTML, I have two headings. One is H1 and another one is H2, and there are two paragraphs. And if I just go to the browser, yep, there we go. This is the basic thing which we have inside of our browser. Alright, so let's go to the code editor once again, and in this video we will talk about the transparency in CSS. So to do that, what I will do body, and then I want to give it a color. So background color, and let's go with something like green. Okay, and let me just pick the color picker. Yeah, something like this. Okay, so save and go to the browser once again. So here it is. This is the green. All right, so let's add a background color to the h1 element as well. So h1, let's select that, and then background color, and let's do something like purple, something like this. And I will just do a little bit of the darker, right? Something like this. The color is subjective. Okay, so yeah, any color should work. Now if I go to the browser, so let's go to the browser, and now our h1 has a background color of purple. All right, now what is happening here is that this color is solid, the h1 background color, and I want to add some transparency to the background color of the h1. So how I can do that? To do that, what we have inside of CSS, we want to use the RGBA color inside of this background color, and the RGBA stands for the like red, green, blue, and then the A stands for alpha channel, which is for transparency. So what I'll do, I'll just do A here, and inside of here, now this A value, the alpha value, can go from 0 to 1, and the decimal points are included as well. So what I can do something like 0.5, and yep, there we go. Now if I just go to the browser, and now as you can see, the green behind of this background, the body color, is bleeding through the h1 background color. That is why the color has changed, and this is a very bad color to be honest, but this is not the point. Yeah, so this is how we can add transparency to the background color. Now there is another way how we can add some transparency. So let me just go to here, and let's not do green, let's do something like yellow or something like that. Save and go to the browser. Yeah, this is a little bit better to see. This is for like the 0.5 transparency, and if I go here and if I just get rid of that and place it 1, which is the default value by the way. So the by default the colors are fully opaque. So now if I go here, as you can see, this is the purple and no color is bleeding through right now because the opacity is 1. Now inside of the color picker as well, what we have this slider for transparency, and we can change the transparency from here, which is something like this, and do that and go to the browser once again. And as you can see, our h1 background color is now a little bit more transparent, which is nice. Now let's do the same thing for the h2, but here we will use a different method. Basically we will use a css property for that. So let's go to the browser, not the browser, in the code editor, and go to here like h2, and here what we can do, we can add a background color, and here I can just add something like blue violet. Yeah, okay, so let me just save and just see what happened. So as you can see, this is the color which is fully opaque currently right now. But now what I can do opacity here, and this opacity can take a percentage, something like 10%, like 0 to 100%, or it can take the same value as the alpha channel, like from 0 to 1. So let's do something like 75%, something like this. Hit save and go to the browser, and there we go. Now as you can see, it is not visible that much, so let me just reduce the opacity. Let me do something like 25%, something like this, so that I can demonstrate one thing. Yeah, so when we were using the alpha channel, the RGBA value, the text opacity remained unchanged. The text opacity is 100%. But here, when we are using the opacity attribute or the property for CSS, here the text opacity is reduced as well, like the background and the text opacity. But here, while using the RGBA value, only the background opacity was changed, not the text opacity. So yeah, this is the opacity in CSS, like the colors opacity, and this can be used inside of the text opacity as well, like the text color. So if I do something like h1, and after that I can do color and do something like this, and not that much good. But now what I can do, I can just reduce the opacity as well. Okay, so the color for the text supports that as well. And now if I go to the browser, now our h1 has this color, which is very hard to read, but yeah, basic, you get the idea. So we can use the RGBA value to add opacity, or we can use the opacity property in CSS.